Many people will tell you that you'll never find someone who's allergic to accountability like their first girlfriend. But I tell you, you probably never seen the United States government. Hello everybody, welcome to the Base Network. I'm your host, Israel Populum. Today we have an amazing story for you, something I think is super important because it shows the hubris of the United States government and the psychology and the mind of a traitor. I think this is kind of best shown with the Dan Bongino crash out on Twitter, which I'm going to go through all the steps with you today. I'm going to go through, the quote tweets with Dave Smith and everything. I'm going to go through everything today. But I really think it's important to highlight this because it shows in 4K how these people think, how they justify it to themselves, and the hubris that come with it because they think their shit doesn't stink. And they don't see any problem with lying to the American people and defending pedophiles. Let's get into his tweets. So first things first, if you don't know who Dan Bongino is, I don't blame you if you don't pay attention to politics. If you do, what are you doing, bro? Come on, lock in. Dan Bongino served as the deputy director of the FBI under Donald Trump. Now, many people criticized his pick. Many people loved it, mainly because Dan Bongino was mainly known as a radio host, someone very influential in conservative media, got banned in 2022 for being anti-COVID, and then went on Rumble and was successful and had a show on Fox. And, people know him as a truth teller. They know him as an exposer of the elite. They know him for exposing the Epstein files. He's written many books talking about elites and how they work and how they lie to you. And particularly, he likes to talk about this because he used to serve for the Secret Service and he used to work as a police officer. And he had this image as someone who was for the people. So when he was brought in as the director of the FBI, a lot of people were like, hey, this is good. We have one of us there. And they quickly realize that propaganda works stronger than you think. And propaganda hits you even though you think it may not. And I say it was propaganda because I think it was very clear that this was a show appointment, meaning that they put Dan Bongino up there. Donald Trump put Dan Bongino up there because he knew that it would look good for his administration. He knew that his supporters would seal clap. Rightfully so, because a lot of people were very excited for this because this guy used to say that he was for the people and he liked to expose things. This is his Wikipedia page here. It goes over his, used to work for the police department, Secret Service, ran for Congress as a Republican, blah, 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 successful radio show host. But I think now people know Dan Bongino as a liar and a traitor of the United States and someone who defends PDF files. My least favorite form of saving documentation. Now, it all culminated with this tweet. I think it started here because he stepped down from the deputy director of the FBI on January 3rd or 2nd. And now he comes back and he's ready for the applause. He's ready to have his cheering tour coming back to the United States because he served our country so well, even though he did nothing he talked about and completely lied about Jeffrey Epstein. But we will get there, do not worry. But let's start here. He starts off with, good to see you all. I missed you. Thank you for everything while we worked on cleaning up. Working on the administration was an experience of a lifetime. I'll have some announcements coming, but I'm going to take a couple days to spend with my family. And you know how much he was crying over not being able to bring his wife to work with him. But it's okay. Let's continue. A couple of things. Thank you for your interest in the show and its return date. We'll have something for you soon. No one really gives a shit, Dan. Sorry to tell you that. The Trump team is not kidding around, and it's an otherworldly experience from the other side. He's determined and focused, and having been around quite a few presidents, this one broke the mold. Now, this is where the crash out begins. If we blocked you, it's because we care so little about your bullshit. We deemed it not even worthy of seeing. Now, what is that bullshit? What are the things that people are complaining about? Let's take a look. Let's take an actual look at the posts, right? Let's get in here real quick. Let's look at the replies here. Dude, delete your account and go off the freaking grid. At this point, you have zero integrity left. You're useless as an FBI director. You barely made it a year, and you did a bang-up job not arresting anyone, Danny boy. And this is kind of what is culminating here, right? Because a lot of people are out here, and they're saying, hey, you didn't do anything. You were a show appointment. And I think if you were paying attention when he was, put up there, you could probably tell that. But this is where it culminates because, again, he steps down because he was a useless loser and he couldn't do his job and he couldn't handle the flames. He couldn't handle the flames, as you see right here. He couldn't handle it. And he got completely cooked because he was literally out here defending the Epstein file release. And that's what people are complaining about. That's what people are whining about. Now let's continue. If you're bitching and whining about it, that makes you can't exist without seeing and commenting on ours, you need to get over that. We do it because there's nothing black pillars and anti-Trump want more than to create division and drama. We're about results, and we'll talk soon about it. You're about results? You care about results? Is that true? Because where's the results of, exposing the Epstein files and arresting pedophile elites? I think actually the only thing that you were able to do was cover it up. Now let's take a look at Dan Bongino's, his statements before and after getting into office. So let's look at that real quick.
Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. Outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Yeah, and I think that shows it. That's the best way of showing it, because if you look at the second video, he looks like he's literally being held hostage. It looks like he's sweating. He's scared of saying it because truly what I think happened is he got put in a room and he was told, hey, look, this is what's going on, because he wasn't running. You think he was reading files? You think he was out here, actually directing what they should be looking into? He wasn't doing shit. He was paper pushing and jacking off just to get the appearances that the Donald Trump administration is one that is transparent. That's his purpose, right? That's his purpose. That's what he's there for. It's the same thing with Kash Patel. And he's another one of these little sea creatures that are running away, scurrying off into the next rock to hide because he's scared of the people. Because the people, and they forget where the power comes from. The power comes from the people, right? The wills come from the people. The political process comes from the people, right? Elites go and they control it and they manipulate because people are, easy to manipulate en masse with media and propaganda. But the true power comes from the people. And something like Jeffrey Epstein is so black and white. It's so good and evil. It's so blatant what's going on. And the cover-up of the administration. If I was Dan Bongino, I would quit, right? And not because, I can't handle the pressure, I can't handle whatever. I would quit and come out and say, look, they don't want to expose it. They have a problem. They're not giving me the real files. When they give me the files, it's bullshit. But he doesn't do that. And he comes back, right? He comes back and he expects all of the support, all of the love again. But truly, do you deserve that? Or were you doing the will of the people? You know you weren't. That's why you're blocking people. That's why you're calling it and whining when it's really accountability, right? It's really accountability. When your wife tells you to take out the trash, she asks you 20 times, and then she gets a little snappy. Is she bitching and whining, or is she upset that you're not doing what she's asking you to do? Now, whatever, you want to get all red-pilled and Sigma or whatever, and you want to be like, oh, she's not telling me what to do. Smack, fine, whatever you want to say, psycho. But in terms of the will of what I'm trying to say, you don't do the will of the people aren't going to back you. And when we're talking about the psychology of these types of people, they expect that kind of energy. They expect the will behind them. But do you deserve it? And is it and whining, or is it accountability? And that's the thing. The accountability dodging is like Ultra Instinct Goku, okay? There's no denying it. It's so blatant. But that's just one tweet. Let's continue. Let me add this from the jump so there's no confusion. I started in this movement as a candidate during the Tea Party movement, and I began my political commentary career shortly thereafter. I helped build this movement. I'm sure as hell not going to let it get hijacked by a group of black pillar, life losers, grifters, and bums. Now, this is what he thinks of people who have an issue with defending pedophiles. This is what he thinks of you when you have accountability for your government. And now, pay attention to his statements before and after getting into that office. Before, never let up, right? That's what he was saying. After, like he has a gun to his head. Oh, well, I think he actually did kill himself. Very obvious. Very obvious. That's what he thinks of you. Because again, this is the psychology of a traitor. Someone who doesn't truly care about his country. Because if that was me or any other real American, we would have gladly stepped down and say, I'm not being a part of this cover-up. I'm not being a part of this lie that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself or didn't have any clients. And it's just all fake. And especially after post new Epstein drops, it's very clear that Donald Trump is scared of the Epstein story because it's the one story that really unites anybody with a human soul. Anyone who has a natural inclination of what's right and what's wrong. This hits them. And it's very, very, very implicit of Donald Trump because he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. In the same way, when you go and you call out Bill Clinton like he did in that video, or Obama or whatever, Donald Trump has infinitely more ties with Jeffrey Epstein than any of those people. If you look at the old emails where Wolf, I forgot the guy's first name, the reporter, and he's speaking to Jeffrey Epstein, they're literally game planning on how they're going to expose Trump or get Trump on his side because he has all this information on him. And then Jeffrey Epstein ends up dead during Donald Trump's administration. But whatever. We don't have to talk about all of that. I'm just a black pill loser, grifter, bum. You should have fat ass in there too, just to give me some motivation. Let's continue here. We are a movement guided by truth. Ironic. We are not the latest thing group. We are not political cannibals. I've watched quietly from the inside while doing the job I was hired to do, but now I'm back and it's time to restore balance to the force. What a fucking cornball. You are a cornball, Dan Bongino. Your fucking hair is receding, okay? Your hair is receding. You shouldn't be out here talking about, oh, the force will be with you. How about you force yourself to go and expose some pedophiles? How about that? How about you force yourself to get some fucking... Get a do-rag and block that goddamn glare coming from the top of your head. Let's do that first, right? Let's do that before you're talking about trying to be Jedi and shit. Like, you ain't a Jedi, bro. You're not a Jedi. You're Jabba the Hutt, cracking minors, okay? Not really, actually. That's a joke, because I don't think he is a pedophile. He's a pedophile defender, though, so, basically the same thing. I put you in the same camp. And then he continues talking about whatever. We're going to have stuff in the future. And then he continues with this, and this is like... If you haven't watched my Better of Two Evils video, watch it, because this is like the thing that triggers me to an absurd degree. This triggers me to an absurd degree. We got the midterms coming up. There's no time for bullshit. And I'm saying like this because it's like an anime like level of stupidity. This administration is cooking and real change simmers. Did you use AI to write that? Really? Because that was kind of fire. This administration is cooking and takes time to... Okay, fine. I'll let you slide with that one. If you're spending your entire day bitching and whining about 3/4 of the term, we still go. Please find the exit. Whatever. This is a cancer killing the movement. Whatever. Now, we have the midterms coming up. We're defending pedophiles. We're slaves to Israel. We're invading in Venezuela. Some of you guys might agree with that or not, but it continues with the American military-industrial complex because this war has nothing to do with helping people. It has to do with making money for oil companies. So we're defending pedophiles. We're going to war for Israel. We're going to go to war in Iran. You watch. We're going to war in Venezuela for the oil companies, right? What happened with the tariffs? What happened with Doge? All this spending. Oh, we have to be careful of all the spending. And then what? We just increase the budget, add more money to our deficit. Donald Trump is a fraud. He is a fraud. Everything he ran for, he's against. The only thing he's doing right now that people support, that I think, he's actually doing the job he said he was going to do was on immigration. And now the country is almost, gonna get into all these riots after the shooting. We'll make a video about that too, getting more in depth than that. Because it's not, it's not cut and dry like most people like to pretend it is. They believe that they deserve your vote for doing nothing, for simply being this much less worse. I don't even want to say better. I would say better because less worse sounds stupid. This much better than the other guy. They just have to be this much better. I don't know if you can see how small that is. Very small if you zoom in. Very small, quite frankly. My dick is very small. This much better. And then they'll go, well, you have to vote for us because otherwise the bad guy will win. It's good guys and bad guys. It's left and right. It's evil and good. It's that clear cut. And you have to vote for us because we're going to lose in the midterms. Why should I give a about Republicans losing in the midterms when the Trump administration has literally lied about almost every single item on their ticket? Almost every single item on their ticket they're not doing. They're covering up for fucking pedophiles. That alone makes me not want to support you. Especially Dan Bongino. If I was Dan Bongino, I would literally slither under the biggest rock I could find and never show my face in the public again due to shame. But no, he wants to come out in here and he wants to talk. And he wants to come out here and call everyone black pill. And they want to call them grifters. And he want to call them cancers to the movement. You are a cancer to the movement. You are leading people astray. Why? Because you get to dangle your nice little addition to your resume that you used to be the director of the FBI, and you get to go back on your podcast and you get to make millions of dollars off of regular people again and not do you said you would do. This is the difference. This is the psychology of a traitor. Someone who believes they deserve and they should take everything from you and leave you with nothing. What has Dan Bongino done? What has he done? He is a political pawn of the administration. He is a political tool. He is a figurehead. He has done nothing. He adds nothing. I have so many other tweets here that I got here, but I basically went on for a long time here, crashing out. But it's important. And I think it's completely important. And if you agree with me, drop a like down below. If you don't agree with me, welcome to the Pedophile Defender Club. Just kidding. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you think I'm crashing out, if you think I'm too vulgar, I'm not taking it seriously, whatever you want to say. But I think this is super important. And it just shows you the hubris. It shows you that he really doesn't care. And he believes you. He treats you like cattle. You're a farm animal. You are a vote. That's what you are. And you have to realize that. You are animals to these types of people. You are cattle to these types of people. You are not, you're not a father. You're not a son. You're not a daughter. You're not a leader. You're not a pastor. You're not a boss. You are cattle. You are a vote. You are taxes. That's what you are. You're money. And they have to give you a little bit of corn feed for you to eat up a little bit and continue to produce for the country. Now, we have a society here. We got to produce. We have to continue. But don't let these types of people control your mind and control the movement. If you're still talking left and right today, if you say the words, but the left, if you say, but the right, you are missing out on so much that you are like cattle. You are like an animal. And I say that because you are literally only being used for your vote. You're being used for your support. You're being used for your engagement. Your engagement, your data is worth more than you to these people. Do you realize that? I could be crazy too. Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you appreciate this video, drop a like, drop a comment, drop a subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.